Take a look at this map. This is plot number 583, a tiny 2.77-acre plot in the city of Ayodhya. Over several decades, the question of who owned this real estate triggered the most legally complex property dispute in Indian history. The political tension over this site reached a violent climax on December 6, 1992. Massive crowds of car sevaks, religious volunteers, swarmed the centuries-old structure known as the Babri Masjid and tore it to the ground. That demolition was the boiling point of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. Leaders like L.K. Advani had led a massive political mobilization 2 years earlier called the Rath Yatra to drum up support for a temple. His arrest in Bihar set off a chain reaction that ultimately led to the mosque's destruction and sparked deadly riots across the entire country. In the aftermath, the central government acquired the land to maintain order, creating a massive vacuum. In 2010, the Allahabad High Court tried to solve the problem by splitting the 2.77 acres 3 ways between Hindu and Muslim litigants. It was a compromise that satisfied no one, and the ruling was quickly challenged and stayed by the Supreme Court. This left the highest court in the land with an incredibly difficult task. How do you definitively prove the legal ownership of a property based on conflicting claims, deep mythological beliefs, and 16th century military conquests? To find an answer, the court had to look beyond modern land deeds and synthesize layers of historical, scientific, and legal evidence. The court began with physical evidence. In 2003, it directed the Archaeological Survey of India to launch a full scientific investigation of the disputed ground. Because the area was highly sensitive, the team used ground-penetrating radar. This technology sends electromagnetic waves that penetrate the soil without disturbing the surface, mapping out solid objects hidden beneath the earth. Based on the radar anomalies, the ASI carefully excavated the site. They uncovered the remnants of a massive, non-Islamic structure dating back to the 10th century, sitting directly beneath the foundations of the 16th century Babri Masjid. But the soil only revealed the building's footprint. To understand if the site had been abandoned or if people were actively using it before the British arrived, the court turned to the written record. The second layer of evidence came from the diaries of 17th and 18th century European travelers. Long before the modern political conflict, visitors like William Finch and Jesuit missionary Joseph Tiefenthaler toured Ayodhya. They documented local religious practices in their journals, specifically noting Hindus praying at the site. The Supreme Court relied on these foreign travelogues as objective, third-party proof that Hindu worship at the Janmabhoomi was an established fact centuries ago. These records supported the legal concept of adverse possession. To win a property claim, the Hindu litigants had to prove an unbroken, continuous chain of physical presence and worship at the site. Evidence showed they did exactly that. Following riots in 1857, the British administration built a physical fence to separate the communities. Muslims prayed in the inner courtyard, while Hindus maintained continuous, uninterrupted worship at a raised platform in the outer courtyard, known as the Ram Chabutra. Hindus continually pushed to access the inner space as well. In November 1858, a group of Nihang Sikhs breached the mosque itself to conduct a ritual and write Ram on the walls. For the court, this officially documented incident proved that the Hindu community never surrendered their claim to the inner sanctum. Conversely, the court examined the Muslim claim to continuous possession. Evidence and witness testimonies indicated that by the 1930s and 40s, Islamic prayers at this specific site had dwindled and largely ceased, weakening the argument for unbroken possession. By linking the observations of 18th century Europeans with a documented unbroken chain of physical worship at the Ram Chabutra, the court established a historical claim that survived centuries of regime changes. Indian law contains a specific mechanism for religious disputes, the concept of a juridical entity. This allows the court to treat the subject of the faith itself as a party to the case. Under this doctrine, Bhagwan Sri Ram Virajman, the deity itself, was recognized as a literal plaintiff in the lawsuit. The law treats the idol as a legal person, capable of owning property and suing for its own rights through a human representative. During cross-examinations, the defense challenged the exact location of the deity's birthplace. The witness priests did not waver. They displayed a consistent belief that the exact microscopic location of the Garbhagriha, the inner sanctum beneath the central dome of the mosque, was the precise birthplace. By accepting the deity's legal personhood, the Supreme Court successfully translated deep, abstract religious faith into a concrete constitutional property claim. On November 9, 2019, after weighing the archaeological data, the travelogues, the continuous worship, and the rights of the deity, a 5-judge Supreme Court bench delivered a unanimous verdict. The court awarded the entire 2.77-acre disputed plot to the deity, Ram Lalla, granting permission for the construction of a temple on the site. While the court awarded the title to the deity, it also addressed the 1992 demolition of the mosque, which it termed an egregious violation of the rule of law. To remedy this historical wrong and ensure complete justice, the bench used its plenary powers to direct the state to grant the Sunni Waqf Board 5 acres in a prominent Ayodhya location for a new mosque. This definitive legal ruling broke the decades-long deadlock. It paved the way for the Prime Minister to lay the foundation stone in 2020, culminating in the grand inauguration of the completed Ram Mandir in January 2024. To resolve a volatile 500-year-old conflict, the modern justice system had to synthesize evidence spanning from the 10th century to the 21st. The final verdict accounted for the site's entire timeline, tracing a path through ancient ruins and colonial diaries, and the legal recognition of faith itself.